So this is German 30 on the daily time frame. I have the same structural bias as bullish. Sentiment wise, I was also bullish for today. We've had the past two candles be bullish, with the third one being, yes, bearish, but these wick rejections to the downside and this sort of zone here clearly shows me that something's happening. Scaling into the hourly, okay, I got too much stuff marked out on my chart. On the hourly, my key zone was around this sort of structure here, um, simply because it just kind of made sense when I opened up the charts. And it was also sort of at these highs. But when I scaled down onto the 15, this looked a lot nicer because I'd obviously want to buy at the low. And scaling into the 5, I actually managed to miss an optimal entry, which would have been around here, which would have been the change of character after this form of depletion here and this push. And this would have already hit a 1 to 2. And today I'm actually aiming for a 1 to 1, or I just need to be up a little bit in percent to actually pass the account. So I've taken a bit more of a aggressive approach today, and I also have this key level here, which was at the highs, which it did end up breaking, retesting, bouncing about, and I used this candle as my change of character. It wasn't actually a change of character now that I'm looking at it, but on my broker it was. So I was more than happy to actually place this. I didn't realize it didn't change it on trading view, or like get a chalk on trading view. I kind of anticipate price to do what it's doing now, which is come down again to this key level, but I'm really hoping for that push. I just needed to get to literally here for the account to be passed. Otherwise, I'm going to be losing. I think I risked still 2%, because if I was risking one, I know it's probably going to come to this key level and it could just violate me. So yeah, it's a bit stupid that I have to risk 2% to gain 1%, but I'm really just hoping that it hits here, and hopefully I could just be done with my phase one. Right, so trade update for German 30. I hit SL. Surprise, surprise. I mean, there was always a factor that could have happened. So yes, I lost 2%. I would normally tweak out over this, and I was kind of tweaking when it did hit, but realistically, I'm still now 4% away from passing, which realistically my next trade should hit a 4% if I'm risking 2, which I have been doing on this account. So I'm not going to tweak out too much, because regardless, I needed one trade to win, whether that win would have been today or the next time I trade this account. I'm going to try not to tweak out as much when it comes to next week, but yeah, wasn't really valid. Was kind of like, it could have went either direction, because the volume's kind of shit because it's a US bank holiday. But shit was just bouncing sideways, to be honest. I should have seen this as a consolidation. I didn't. I just kind of had to gaslight myself into believing there was a trade there when there obviously wasn't. And I guess my emotional state of has kind of come into play, and that's just trading. And then honestly, when I see that how the way that price has dumped, there is some form of level here that it is obviously reacted off of. I was hoping it was reacting off this level and trying to bounce back up. Wasn't the case. And it didn't really make any structure, but yeah, that's what's happened. I've hit SL, I've lost. Regardless, I need to win. I need to win either today or the next trade anyway. So hopefully next trade I take will pass the account anyway. So yeah, that was my update.